Greetings. It's been a while since I've posted videos. I've been posting text updates, and I hope they've been as helpful as videos, but sometimes I can't help it, as in this case, so I'm making 2-3 videos just to provide updates. I have made a good discovery that I think those who are following the trajectory will find the update as helpful. Just a few days ago, I mentioned that there is a command to be ready and to be available to commemorate the third day of Aviv. That will be next year around the end of March, April. In the available calendars, they call it Nisan, but it's the same as Aviv. The name changed over, along the way, but both names are used. So on the third day, that's when this commemoration is required to take place. And so I was asking myself, what is it about the third day? Now, in the story of Exodus, the first day is mentioned, and it's commanded that will be the first day of the first month of the Hebrew calendar. And 14 days later, that's the night of Passover. And then there is a period of 7 days of preparation where there's no yeast, there's no leavened bread in the house. But there's no mention of the first, second, or third day in the story of Exodus. So I was left with some unanswered questions. And by chance, I've been, trying to just to study, and there are people. So it's really nice to mention, because to express gratitude to those who have been studying and providing this information for free. So there is a lot of information, a lot of, what people have synthesized, revelations they've received and they've shared. So the questions, the spiritual questions we might have, we don't really have to have them if we provide a little bit of that time to research and study as well, and update ourselves. So I'll mention Rabbi Yitzhak Ginsburg. He's based in Israel. I've posted a few videos, really forwarding his videos, especially on numbers, number series and things like that. He's a genius, and we thank the Lord for him, and we pray that he will be blessed with many more years and happiness and joy, and hopefully we'll get to see and greet Mashiach, because they are really devoted. So in this particular video that I've watched a few days ago, he mentions things that are helpful in regard to the third day of Aviv. So Aviv is the same as Nisan. The names are used interchangeably. Most calendars will mention Nisan, but it's really Aviv or Nisan. Now, in the last chapter of the book of Exodus, the tabernacle that was built in the desert was consecrated, and then the Lord's glory came. The dazzling light of his presence was the final bit of the experience. So the tabernacle was prepared, it was dedicated, it was made complete and ready for use. And then two things: the cloud that was guiding them during the day, plus the Lord's presence, the dazzling light of the Lord's presence. So that is the last chapter, the last few verses of the last chapter of the book of Exodus. But the gem really came. This is why I'm so grateful, because he was trying to explain time. So there are, I think, 3 videos. I was watching the third one. It's talking about the nature of time. This is video number 3. And then he's explaining the month has 28 days, but there are also categories of time, 28 of them, and in pairs there are 14. So that comes out of the book of Ecclesiastes. Very difficult to mention, but I'll try. Ecclesiastes. I hope I pronounce it right. So that is in the very first chapter. It talks about those categories of time and the pairs, and then the link to day and night. But then day 3, that's what makes it very, very important. It says, this is, in the book of Ecclesiastes, it talks about there being time for this, time for that, good and bad. And on day 3, which is, now those days again are linked, traditionally, the practitioners of Judaism, they remember these days. They're already doing the commemoration. I think I just need to get into the mix and the action. So the 3rd day speaks about there being time for birth and time for death. Sorry, that's day 1. Day 3 is time for healing and time for, I think, destruction. So there are gems like this that I keep, I'm beginning to pick up, and I'm beginning to understand. The revelations come in bits. So I see the trajectory, I see where it's heading, and this is why sharing is helpful. I hope that those who are following will find this helpful as well. All the best.